Hi, my name is Will. Welcome to the Distorted Transmission for today. I have two Southerners with me tonight from Blindfolded and Led to the Woods. How are you guys?
Pretty good, man.
If you guys could introduce yourselves and the other members of the band and the instruments you play, etc., that'd be very handy.
My name is Stu, and I play guitar and do a little bit of backing vocals as well.
Yeah, I'm Nick. I play bass, and not here today. We have, we don't have Stace, who's our vocalist, Ben, who is our second guitarist, and Tim, who's our drummer.
I know you started around 2010. Could you tell me just a brief overview of your journey until now?
We are basically just a bunch of really good friends who love to get together and play metal and share our music and lyrical content with the world as best we can.
Cool. Have you had any lineup changes over the years?
Technically, I'm not an original member. I joined the band after their first show, which another band I was in played that night, and I sort of knew Stace from high school, and I knew Stu and Jared and Tim from Sacrament, and I just approached them and said they actually played that gig with three guitarists, no bass player, and so I just said, hey, if you ever need a bass player, and Stu just looked at me blankly and just walked away. No, I'm just kidding. And then I guess you could say the rest is history. They sent me a song, I learnt it, and then joined the band, and that was early 2010. And then in 2018, we parted ways with Jared, and Ben, who we've all known for years, who's played in various metal bands in Christchurch, and it was just an obvious like for like replacement, and he's been in the band. His first shows were when we did the New Zealand tour with Revocation in 2018 and Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, and then we did Sepultura a couple of weeks later. So he really kicked off with a bang.
I remember seeing you guys. That was down. I think I was down in Christchurch with the Decapitated and the Suffocation tour, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was at the Ducks Live. That was actually an awesome show. I remember getting to hang out with Terrence from Suffocation was pretty cool.
He's an extremely chatty guy. He chats to everybody. He doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, he was great.
The band sound has matured significantly over time, culminating in your latest release, Nightmare Withdrawals, which dropped in March. From an outsider's perspective, it seems that you are taking yourself a lot more seriously than you did back when I first saw you around 2013.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much has happened in our lives since our earlier releases, and we've all grown up. And as I guess life has become more serious, our music kind of followed suit. I think we were all going through various things when we were working on Nightmare Withdrawals. So there was a lot going on in the background for us. And I guess that in a way, was a part of the darkness and kind of grimness that is on that album. Lyrically and everything. It was like a 3-year journey kind of getting that album together. So so much happened. We'd be here all night if we went into it. But I love the direction that the band has gone in now. I think it's more in line with what we want to do. I think more than the old stuff. When we probably didn't take ourselves very seriously. So yeah, I'm super happy with the direction and the direction that we're going to continue to go in.
Cool. The album was recorded at the Sitting Room studio. Is that another way of saying you recorded it at home? Or maybe not. Could you tell me about the recording process? Our
previous two full lengths were recorded in Wellington. First one at STL and second one at Blue Barn Studios. But we really, just with as kind of Stu alluded to before, the subject matter of what everyone was going through, it was really important to us that we recorded it locally. And there's a studio in Littleton, which is sort of like a 15-minute drive from Christchurch. It's like a little port town. The Sitting Room is a studio there run by Ben Edwards, who probably more famous for he records a lot of country artists, like Marlon Williams, Tammy Nielsen, those kind of people, Aldous Harding, and I'm pretty sure he said that we're the first ever like metal band to record there. It's a really nice space, and like just being able to, I guess, go home every night as well, and then drive back out to the studio every day, and where the studio is located on the hill in Littleton, and it looks out over the harbour, and it just, I don't know, something about the vibe of it just was really, really nice. And we were there for 8 days, doing the basic tracking with Sam, who produced it. He flew over from Melbourne, and they've got accommodation on site for bands and the producers and stuff. So he just stayed there the whole time. And yeah, it was a really, really cool process. Really great room and really great vibe all around.
I imagine that if he just had a string of country music to his name in the past, I'm sure that you guys would have scared the living shit out of him.
Well, I think he actually said to us on must have been one of the early days. He's like, "Oh, like I knew you guys were a metal band, but I wasn't expecting all you guys to be so nice." Like, so I think it's just we're just breaking down more barriers about stereotypes of metal musicians.
All right. I've always had trouble defining his style, which, to be honest, is a refreshing thing in this day and age. It certainly is relentless, almost an ADHD nightmare of heavy styles thrown into a tumble dryer. If I'm honest, some of your older work wasn't really my thing, and I don't know if it's the music or myself maturing, but I found the latest album to be quite exceptional. Each song seems meticulously thought out and well balanced overall. Who are the primary songwriters, and how does the process of song development usually take place?
Primarily, I've always written like the most for all of our music for the most part. But in saying that, what I come up with often is quite a bit different to what actually comes out. Everyone puts their own flair on it, which is awesome. Like Nick is obviously a far more proficient bass player than I. So when he sees my bass things and goes like, what is this? And then makes it actually playable, like, and he makes it so much better. He does all these crazy tapping stuff that I would have never, ever been able to come up with. Ben is really great at taking a lot of the like more progressive sections that we've seen come out in our music more and more and kind of flesh them out. Tim is just an absolute weapon on the drums. So like I'll write things, because I play drums myself, so I often find it quite easy to write it from a drummer's perspective, which I think a lot of guitarists and songwriters kind of struggle with. But I love the way Tim plays drums. He's awesome. And then Stace, yeah. So a lot of the lyrics on Nightmare Withdrawals I wrote, but Stace also wrote a few songs as well. And it was really awesome to, work together and flesh out those ideas, because something that I might have in my mind, he comes along and his idea is completely different. So we meet somewhere in the middle, and I'm always like so excited for that process and how we come to a finished product.
So quite a collaborative effort then, I'd say.
Yeah, so I kind of come up with the bones, and then the boys put it all together, and then we've got a song, I guess.
Yeah, I quite like bands who push the boundaries, from bands like Voivod to Cynic, or even bands like Mr. Bungle. Did you set out to outdo yourselves, or is it just a natural progression of a band that's now 11 years old?
I mean, it's probably really cliche, but I think most bands probably say that their latest album is their best work, But yeah, I think it was kind of a natural progression. But yeah, I think we all kind of knew it was a step up in general from our earlier stuff.
And you managed to get Carl Sanders on one of your tracks, which, especially for Stu being a big Nile fan, would have been a massive trip. How did that actually come to pass? I guess Stu should answer this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so insane, and I still like trip out about it, because Carl Sanders is like my hero, and he has been since I was like 16 or whatever. We were preparing to tour with Nile, and then COVID shut all of that down. So, the next best thing was that connection that we already had. And then, we were in the recording process at the time. So it was like, Carl, man, like, do you want to be on a track? Just thinking like, I mean, what do we got to lose? He's either going to say yes or no. And he was like, send a track through and I'll see what I think. And we sent the track through and he was just absolutely stoked on it. So the rest was kind of history. We gave him the tracks and he recorded it at his studio and sent them back to us. And I was like sitting in my little studio at home, just like crying. I was literally crying. I was just like, this is just insane. Like, that is crazy. And it still blows my mind. Yeah.
The artwork for the album, I would say, also jumped several notches up in terms of quality. No disrespect to any past artists, but it is very striking and also very fitting. Could you tell me a little bit about the artist and the artwork, Nick?
I think the aim for the artwork for this was to find something more representative of the material, I guess. And every release up until that point, we'd worked with a good friend Jason, and we were definitely going for like a photography kind of vibe. We wanted something, but I think this time we just wanted something completely different. And I think Stace came across the artist who did it. He's a Polish artist called A Great Mass. I believe his real name's Cezary. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he does a lot of stuff in that kind of style. And we commissioned him to do a cover. We sort of sent him the concept of the album, and he came back with that. And we were kind of blown away. And I think it's kind of proved itself. Like, I think a lot of comments online have been about how striking the artwork is, and we're super proud of it. And the cover was done by him, but the rest of the layout of the vinyl and the rest of the artwork was built on that cover by Nina Morris, and she also did the artwork for the special 7-inch for the track we did with Carl Sanders, which was all based on that original painting from A Great Mass. So it was pretty cool process, and pretty cool to see it on vinyl and holding it in your hands as like a finished product. That cover definitely has turned some heads, so to speak.
Speaking of the artwork and the album itself, you produced a few hundred vinyl copies that have since sold out. Did you consider making more?
We have some limited copies of just the black edition left, which is the gatefold vinyl. We still have some of those left available on our Bandcamp if you want to grab one. But we also we got approached by a small label, Total Dissonance Worship, who they wanted to do some color variants of the vinyl. So we did 2 different variants, which all, I believe have all sold out. And just because of COVID, the production for vinyl is taking extremely long at the moment. But I think initially they were supposed to ship in November, but I think it's been pushed back to January. So if you're waiting on a copy of that just be patient. But we haven't even seen them yet ourselves. But apart from the mock-ups, but we're pretty excited to see. With the fact that someone like Simon from TDW wanted to work with us, we're actually, well, Stu and I especially, are fans of his bands and stuff. It was pretty cool to get approached to do those variants. We're really looking forward to seeing them as well.
Have you got the Woodstock burps, buddy?
Yeah, always. Yeah. No sugar though. Looking after the rig.
All right, so the next question is in regards to the New Zealand tour. This big New Zealand tour lined up, heaps of dates, heaps of support bands. One of my bands was included. I was pretty pleased about that. And then it all got kind of canned, or at least postponed, because of the COVID bullshit. So what are your plans for that tour going ahead again in the future?
Well, at this stage, we're not really gonna lock anything in 100%, but what I will say is if we go to level 1, every one of those shows is going to happen again. We hope that it's going to be sooner rather than later, but there's just no way to tell. And we don't want to go and tell everyone about this whole big list of shows again and then just have to tell everyone that they're not happening again.
You might also jinx it as well. If you say, it's going to happen in January, and then, same thing.
We haven't played this album to people, and the whole idea was to play the album from start to finish on the tour, and that's kind of how the album was written. that's how we want it to be performed, and we haven't had a chance to do that. And like that's kind of heartbreaking for us, but we want to do that. Like I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. I really hope that we get to do that.
All right, good. Is there anything else you'd like to add at the end of this little conversation?
First of all, I'll say a massive thanks to you, Will, for having us, because that's awesome. It's been a while coming, I think, having a conversation with you, so it's awesome to be here. Yeah, I mean, it's such like weird times right now. Who knows what's going to happen, but like we want to be out there playing. We want to be playing overseas. We want to be, hitting some festivals and things when we can. That's one of our massive goals. And yeah, just a massive, massive thanks to everyone in New Zealand and overseas that have supported us through this release, because it's changed a lot of things for us as a band. And that wouldn't have happened without people getting behind us and supporting it. So like, it's hard to explain the gratitude we have for everyone, because it's just been like, it's kind of been like a dream come true, this album, and I can't wait to see what we do in the future, because it's really exciting times. I love the direction we're going in, and I'm excited to go on that journey with everyone, and and hopefully get to play these songs to people in person.
All right, Nick, you want to add anything?
I think we covered everyone pretty much in that, but yeah, massive thanks to Sam, who produced and mixed the record, Alan at West Side Mastering, who mastered it, Nina for doing the layout, Steve at Prosthetic Records, who's just been amazing to work with so far, and we're really looking forward to seeing how that partnership plays out. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. And probably Amber for doing the music video for Inevitable Fate of the Universe, Zev for doing the video for Top the Wings of a Magpie. I guess these are all just pieces of the puzzle, and we're not like, when we might be a band of 5 guys, but we're not just a band of 5 guys. There's so many other people involved who help push us and help get us to where we are now. So we're extremely grateful and thankful for all of those people.
Best of luck going forwards, and cheers for the chat. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Will.
And thanks for watching.